jump in full year profit. I mean, that's a 51% increase. We saw a recovery in underwriting margins. You do say that is expected to decline going forward. Tell us about the period that we've just come out from and why we saw such a significant recovery.
Yes, it was a very pleasing performance. Three main reasons on the underwriting side. Firstly, our core business did better than we expected and certainly better than last year. We made some substantial progress on the claims area, re-engineering the claims process, and that kicked in very nicely in the year. Secondly, we had a very considerable turnaround in two business units which traditionally have underperformed in Santam, first being the corporate property and secondly the portfolio management. We really had a very strong turnaround there, and that fed in nicely. And finally, the specialist businesses, which have traditionally done well in Santam, had another good year. So all three together really resulted in a substantial turnaround.
Well, Ian, I mean,
let's 8.5%.
Let's touch on those margins increasing from 3.5% in 2009 to 8.5% in 2010. Tell us about your historical level that we've seen over the past few years, and perhaps going forward. You do say that it is going to decline perhaps to around 6% or so. Tell us about the challenges that you could face with regards to this relative to the historical trends that we've seen.
Yes, if you look back over a sort of 5 to 10 year period, we have overachieved on our target being, as you've indicated, 4 to 6%. We've achieved probably closer to 7% over that 10-year period. But we do target 4 to 6, and that's why we say that realistically we'll head back towards a sort of medium to long-term target in 2011 and thereafter. As I indicated earlier, we had a particularly strong year in 2010. The economy is recovering, so conditions are getting a little bit better. But I think we had an exceptional performance in 2010, and it's difficult to repeat that given the competitive pressures which we're under, and we will increasingly become under.
Hi Ian, it's Greg. Congratulations on your results. I thought they were quite superb. The question I want to ask you, if it looks like interest rates have probably bottomed in South Africa and the next movement in time will be up, how would that generally affect your business?
Firstly, on the float income and on that part of the solvency capital that we hold in cash, money market instruments, it's a positive thing. You'll see in the commentary that this year, in respect of 2010, our float income was a bit subdued as a result of the reduction in interest rates. So the increase in interest rates that we anticipate coming through in the second half of the year will be positive. Of course, on the negative side, we just have to watch that the authorities don't stifle the recovery by heading the interest rates north at too rapid a pace. So our consumers will then become under pressure. But I think they'll be responsible, and net it should be positive for Santam.
What about a weakening currency? We know that the authorities have been very vocal about having a weaker local currency. How is that going to impact your business? Because a strong currency last year, in fact, boded well for Santam.
Yes, indeed. On the claims side, particularly in the motor segment with car parts, the strong currency definitely helped the claims ratio. Our average cost per claim reduced, partially as a result of the parts and the impact of the rand on the parts, but other reasons as well. On the other hand, the businesses that we have operating outside of South Africa obviously become more valuable. So, it's a bit of a contra situation there.
Ian, let's touch on claims going forward, and perhaps claims since the beginning of the year. We've seen adverse weather conditions. We've also seen floods in various nodes in South Africa. Did you see an increase in claims over the past few months?
We did. January and February, the volume of claims, the frequency of claims went up about 20%, but we managed the average cost per claim down by a similar percentage. So we think net the position at Santam is fine. We do have reinsurance protection in the event of substantial claims. So I think we're well protected, and we have unique diversification. The industry, however, really will experience an increased volume. All the players don't necessarily have the same diversity that we have. We're in most of the geographies in the country, and therefore it really depends on how you've positioned yourself. We've also been quite strong on the risk management side, and we've taken action over a number of years to not overly expose ourselves to those areas of the country that are traditionally prone to flooding.
Ian, just to end off, going forward, what can we expect from Santam? You alluded to the fact that underwriting margins are going to come under pressure. What are you pricing in this time round on the markets front as well, and also just overall in South Africa, competition increasing? That's no surprise.
Yeah, I think it will be more competitive. Rate increases will remain difficult, although the economy is recovering, and that's generally good for short-term insurance. We think the competitive pressures are strong. The underwriting margins for ourselves and for the industry are improving, so therefore it's sometimes difficult to process the rate increases that we might need through the market. So the underwriting margin we think will trend closer to the 4 to 6%. The float income should improve for the reasons that I've indicated earlier. We're managing our float well, and interest rates should kick through higher in the year. And we are expecting on the investment of the surplus capital and the solvency capital return sort of in the mid-teens, slightly lower than what we've achieved for 2010, but nevertheless very acceptable. And we will obviously be out there to do as best we can and perhaps improve on those forecasts, but still a reasonable year for the industry and for Santam.